Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some more Vinland Saga. We got comments today, so let's go over what people got to say. We got Aram Oland Meiji, who says, from the road home, they are going to fight Canute. That's why Thorgil was so pumped. He gets to conquer a king or die a warrior. Win-win. The plan was never to run.
I don't really remember Thorgil being pumped, but it's been so long since we've seen him. And again, a
Mhm.
little bit of inside baseball here. We record these one a week. So, the last
Yeah,
time we saw Thorgil was how many episodes ago from I was saying it? How
yeah.
many weeks ago to us? So, it's been a while since we've seen Thorgil. And, the first time I saw this comment, I had a little bit of Vietnam flashback. Those the scenes where you see like the sharp shock of black and white of horrible victims of war scenes, and someone's like, but because my first thought was, yeah, but I would assume that everybody else would want to run. Certainly,
Mhm.
one guy who wants to get into a fight couldn't hold everybody into a place, and I just got flashbacks of Harmon and every other tabletop game where I've wanted to play in a fight. It's like, certainly one guy couldn't keep everybody to stay in a fight.
Yeah, it's going back to our little tabletop history there. Go ahead and check out our older videos. You can watch Theta do an infinite number of last stands.
It's the most
but
interesting thing.
but it is entirely possible that Thorgil can like bully and intimidate other people into doing certain actions, or at least like get Kettle to make demands of other people.
Well, Kettle's the hero turned coward, though, so
Mhm.
I certainly wouldn't think he'd want to stay. Certainly, he's going to get back home and see all the mess that's happening. I don't
Mhm.
know. If the context is that they're going to stay, him showing up with the punishment bat kind of makes more sense, I guess.
Right. Up next, we have Antonio Estrada, who says, from Great Purpose, swords, as machete, like in terms of length, did exist and emerge throughout Africa before and during the Dark Ages of Europe. Metallurgy wasn't a unique method discovered just by early Europeans.
I'm gonna saddle half the blame on you for this one, Griff. We both actively worked on a tabletop game that
Hmm.
took place literally in the Africa type setting, in which there were weapons that used metallurgy to make.
I feel like I'm missing an additional bit of context. What do you remember of this comment that I said?
No, it was a conversation we both had. We couldn't figure out when metallurgy was introduced to Africa, if they had swords in Africa.
I mean, metallurgy would have been introduced like as like early Egypt.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they had empires, the sea people, early ancient stuff. What? Gosh, when was the sea people invasion thing? Man, I gotta look that up now. I'm gonna
when did
Wikipedia.
Atlantis invade
No,
Egypt?
I swear.
The
The
sea
ancient sea
people.
peoples that ended the Bronze
You
Age.
mean the Phoenicians? Are you going for the Phoenicians here? Are you going for the...
1200 BC.
Well, I mean, there's also
That's
the fact that Egypt probably and most likely independently discovered metallurgy on its own and
Mhm.
wasn't introduced, considering that Africa is the birthplace of humanity. But I'm just saying that these are incredible insights you're having here, Griff, that you did not say out loud during the conversation we had during the episode.
I can only blame myself for being stupid, honestly, and thanks, Antonio.
As I said, we literally had a hand in developing a game that's historically based in that setting that
Mhm.
had those weapons.
Up next, though, we have Reaganmacher175, who says, from the road home, Thorgil does not seem to be the kind of guy who would be okay with running from Canute. I think, as we just discussed in the previous comment, yeah, he's gonna make that last stand, huh?
I would argue that in the way that your comment is framed, I think
Mhm.
he might be, given that he's a guard for Canute. So
Mhm.
killing the guy that you're supposed to be guarding seems like not a great thing. I feel like there's a whole Game of Thrones character built around that sort of thing. The Kingslayer, is he called? I don't know. He kind of got famous for something else he does also. So
Maybe door based. I don't know. I only know a couple of Game of Thrones things here.
I don't know. They really introduce him as the Kingslayer really early on, and then it's all sleeping with your sister wife. So
uh, I think I do need a refresher because I feel like I'm being confused. Thorgal is Kettle's son, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're already running from Canute.
But remember, he's also part of the guard, or he was before he killed all those guys that wanted him to be arrested before they ran.
Right, right.
But I think they're obviously you're right. He is currently running because they all popped their heads out of barrels, all of Thorfinn season 1. But I think the idea is that they're going to get back to the farm and then stop running because clearly the farm is the tactical position with which we have the best chance of beating the king of 2 countries.
Yeah. Things aren't looking great, and I think this episode, from what we were getting last time, they're gonna be back home, and we're gonna at least talk about that. I want to know what kind of decision making they make there. But I guess
Well,
to quickly go over what happened
well,
last
I just
time.
want to say, well, I've pissed off both the United States government and England, but as soon as I get back to my trailer, Griff, we're gonna put off our last stand. That's when I have the home field advantage.
You wouldn't be the first to think that way.
Especially not the first man in a trailer.
But last time we had the road home, where Snake attacks Thorfinn with his curved sword, but Thorfinn manages to evade it and even land some blows. They fight to a standstill, with each aware of each other's fighting skill, but Snake reaches the cart containing Gardar and stabs him in the chest as payment for the 5 men he killed. While Snake tells Arnheid and Thorfinn that they have to be punished, Gardar grabs Snake and begins to choke him. Arnheid convinces Gardar to stop and leave with her, fabricating a story that she sent their son to live with his elder brother. Servkul offers his cart to Gardar, and he quietly leaves with Arnheid. However, Gardar is dying from his wounds, and in a delirium, recalls the birth of his son, his life as a warrior and a slave, and the futility of a life of adventuring while abandoning his family. As he dies in Arnheid's arms, retainers arrive to take them into custody. So, I feel like that definitely encapsulates all the actions that happened, but that was possibly, as we were talking last time, the most tragic individual episode we've seen in a bit.
Well, because it encapsulates. Repeating the word you said now. Because it basically it rehashes everything for the last couple of episodes where we learned their backstories and gives it back to us in a, what do you call it? Like the last moments of your life where you flash back to everything that's happened to you.
Yeah, the person who needed the lesson most finally receives that lesson, where everyone else was slowly turning to that page beforehand. Yeah,
I wouldn't agree with the person who needs that lesson the most, considering that
I
they're
think
literally
Gardar would need to learn to stop killing people. That's his main problem.
what, while he's here dying with nobody left to kill. I feel like if you were going to learn that lesson, you should have learned it. Well, also, that's not a lesson about learning not to kill people.
Sorry,
his lesson was about,
say
his lesson would have been more what, staying together with the people you love, or knowing what's important or valuable to you, and not what you perceive to be important or valuable. I don't know. There's a lot of lessons buried in there, and I'm sure some of them I would never get unless somebody in the comments were to say, "Tell me what those lessons were."
For a 20-minute episode, it is a nicely thick bit of text that you can read into. I enjoyed it a whole lot.
Well, I think I said
I'm not sure we're going to top that episode today, though.
I think I said during the episode that you could just cut this off by itself, make it an OVA without anything else, and it's very well self-contained. Like, you might not get the same emotional impact from knowing all of the other characters and everything from the series, but by itself, it serves. Like, if we were to replace that with a Voices of Distant Stars or Pale Cocoon, I think we would understand what we were seeing without context.
Yeah, I think there wasn't anything else they really needed to elaborate on in that episode to make it a standalone beyond they're slaves and they're trying to leave. That would be it. But we watched 2 other episodes, so they don't bother re-saying
Well, I
that.
mean, again, I think we can get that from context because you remember we saw the slave master on the road that he had killed, and then him as a slave begging not to be hurt anymore.
Hmm.
So I mean, without context, I think it's still self-evident.
Yeah. So even a week later, we're still riding high on that episode. So I gotta ask Theta, what are your thoughts going into this one? What's the main thing you do want to see?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I want to see because that's what the show kind of excels at, in
Uh huh.
that you don't know what's exactly going to happen because sometimes we'll be going in expecting fights and we'll get like long talks over the campfire about lives and whatnot, and then sometimes you'll go in expecting fights and instead you'll juke to the right and deal with traumatic post stress issues. It's
Yeah.
all very unexpected shit. But we did get the last time on bit where it looked like Kettle was showing up with that same wooden thing that he used to beat that boy uh, nearly to death when they stole
Yeah.
food from the pantry. So I
Mhm.
assume he's not going to beat the woman because she's pregnant with his kid unless he doesn't know or doesn't care. But Kettle is the kind of guy who doesn't want to hit a kid.
He's gonna
So
blame Einar.
maybe, or he's going to blame, or she's going to get blamed, and Einar is going to take the blame for her. The
Mhm.
same way that the boy was like, beat me, not my sister. Einar's going to like, beat me, not her.
Yeah, it'd be a very Einar move at that point. So I think I gotta agree with it. I think the thing I'm waiting for is what their plan is going to be once they arrive back at the farm, because any number of things could happen. They could be making their plan for further retreat. They could be settling in to fully defend it. We're gonna have more than just the beating today, I think. So
I
that's what
mean,
I'm looking forward to.
it'll also going to be the last time we see these characters. Leaf takes
Mhm.
Thorfinn, sails off.
And we never know. Oh,
Just
that
off
would
in the
almost be the
distance is the
worst.
screams of Einar getting beaten to death.
Hmm. I mean, they did technically lay out already. It's like we can't get rid of this violence until we leave the Vikings behind. So leaving them behind and not knowing what happened to the violence would be perfect too.
I mean, at that point, though, you're left with the mental conundrum or mental gymnastics of
Uh-huh.
we can't leave the Vikings behind. We're Vikings.
The Viking was in our heart all along.
Yeah, Leif Erikson is a fucking Viking. Thorfinn is a fucking Viking. He might not. They might want to escape, you know, the institutions of the past, but you
Mhm.
take with you what you bring with you.
Yeah, people love to copy things that they already know. That's all I'm gonna say in terms of politics today. But before I go ahead and get into those theories, let's just go ahead and watch the episode and see what happens. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Get up to date with all of our YouTube releases, Patreon releases, and all the discussions. Typically about Gundams for some reason.
Vote.
I mean, we obviously knew they were getting here. Wait, never mind. That's Wolf.
良い風ですな。
Wrong group of votes.
このまま風に恵まれれば、2、3日のうちにはケティル農場に到着するでしょう。しかし、田舎豪族のごときを相手に、陛下御自らご出陣と、我ら用務戦士団にお任せくだされば、十分でありましょう。クヌーと陛下には深いお考えがおありなんです。不老気殿。
Do we have a name for this guy?
Wolf. I just said it's Wolf.
Oh.
He's the guy who got into a fight with Canute before he got into a fight. It was a duel thing.
お忘れなく
Wolf, I'm just close.
抵抗すると思うかケテルどもは王を相手に
はさてケティルめは戦地で鉄拳とあだ名される猛者
Like I said, the thing I appreciate most from this scene is the attention to detail of which way the wind is blowing.
そうは見えなかったかな
Oh yeah.
It's pushing against their backs so their capes move forward, their hair goes forwards.
しないたく
It's also the direction that the sails are blowing in, so it makes the most sense.
降伏するならばそれに越したことはない
直々のご出陣はそのためです
It's a perfect rectangle.
王陛下に無体を働いたのです強く懲らしめて民草への見せしめにすべきでは
逆らうんならば容赦はせぬつもりだ
His little handband has to be the worst. Because it's connected by a little metal chain.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever had, like, anything hair-related next to a metal chain,
され
you're
ど
just gonna be caught in that shit constantly.
求むる地は未だ陶器にありか
At the very least, Canute is living up to Askeladd's aspirations for him.
Very true. We're establishing our tension. The threat is on the way. We know they're going to be there. And, well, we might at least get to the start of the fighting this episode. At least if the
Well,
threat
no.
is being levied like
Wait a
that.
minute, Canute just said that the destination was
days.
very far away.
Mm-hmm. But they're still sticking to their plan, and nothing really has changed there. They're dropping 100 men, and they're going to see what happens.
I just mean that we've been in the same day for 2 episodes now, and they're 2 to 3 days away.
We don't have an accurate sense of when everything else is happening, unfortunately. They could be happening in 2 different time periods.
Yes, one is in the far future, while the other is in a galaxy far, far away.
This is the main problem with, like, not everything is dated. It's like, yeah, sure, they could be doing this the day Kettle arrives, after the scene where Kettle says it'll take 3 more days.
Well, you see, Griff, a parsec is both a measure of time and distance.
Alright, we gotta do Vinland Saga, but Spaceland Saga.
Space Vikings?
Boat.
ありゃまあケイティルの旦那のお帰りかと思ったらトールギルさんだ
Nope, Kettle's still in the barrel.
帰りなさいトールギルさん
おう土産だ受け取れ
4 dead.
酒でも飲ませて寝かすときまったくしょうがねえ親父だぜほらお公人ども魚なんぞ干してる場合じゃねえぞ戦の準備だもうすぐ敵の軍団がここに来るぞこの農場丸ごと奪いにな
At least he's taking charge.
Wait, don't we pay other men for this?
Everyone's gotta be involved in the defense. You think 5 guys are gonna do it?
もうすぐっていつ
They can open up a pizza place.
おいちょっと
But by pizza, I mean burgers. The joke just fell through. Give up.
うちとの取引済ませてくれよ巻き込まれちゃかなわん
その辺のことは親父と相談してくれ俺は忙しいんだオルマールはい来い
This is mostly your fault, you jackass.
お前は初陣だ俺のそばにいて戦のやり方を覚えろま相手が相手だこれが最後の戦になるかもしれねえがな
First and last. Feels good.
Well, his first.
嬉しいだろオルマルお前のやりたがってた戦争だぞ
ケティルさん、しっかりしてくれ。うちの積みに相場の
Oh man, I just spun 1,000 rotations per second. Give me a
そのため
minute.
に俺たちここまであんた方を運んでやったんだから。
アルネイズ。
え？ちょっとケティルさん、待ってくださいよ、ケティルさん。ケティルさんってば。
大丈夫ですよ、きっと。
So you're reading the ropes? What are you
予感
doing?
がするんでしょう、親父。今度はきっと本物のトルフィンですって。
He's so happy and optimistic. He's gonna meet a terrible fate.
Also, his eyes aren't nearly as bugged out as they were before.
そう信じよう。
Nope, real Thorfinn ran away. Not at the farm anymore.
戦争だ？ここでか。
数日のうちだってよ。砦の防
Oh
壁
gosh, that would actually be the worst outcome.
いや、修理ったってお前、こんなもん数日で直せるかよ。つうか相手はどこだ？
それが教えてくれねえんだ。兵隊が集まったら
A two-nation army.
相手がどこだろうと無理だぜ。この農場にはまともな戦争経験者が足りねえもんよ。ついこの間だって貴重な戦士が5人も死んだっつうのに。
Oh yeah, worst possible timing. That's right. Almost forgot.
夫人たち、なんか騒がしいな。旦那が帰ってきたのかな。旦那、どうするかな。アルネイズさんの逃亡を知ったら。
Probably nothing, considering she didn't escape.
やっぱり罰を与えるんだろうか。
Trying to escape is the cry.
Right, but I mean, if he thinks he's about to die himself, I don't know. We saw him walk in with the beating stick.
旦那はアルネイズさんのことを可愛がってるし、そんなにひどいことはしないよな。かもな。
Sure, but Kettle does actually have a wife, though. So this might not play out exactly that great.
Maybe it's not actually a great sign when the characters are aligned with your thinking earlier.
すまん。いや、ヘビさんたちと戦ってくれたんだろう。アルネイズさんたちのために。誓いを破ってまで。
Not really. That was open hand fighting.
どうしても戦わなきゃ。
But he hurt somebody.
Did he?
ありがとう。
Yeah, he did.
Did he, though? Snake really hurt by Thorfinn?
ヘビさんが好きだ。優しくて筋の通った人だと思う。ヘビさんと戦いたくなかった。結局ガルザルさんを死なせてしまった。
Figure you didn't let Gardar die. You just weren't able to stop him from dying.
そのうまく言えないんだけど。
The line we would have loved like a season ago.
いい方法があったんじゃないかって。こんなにも人が傷ついて命が奪われなきゃいけなかったのかって。
Well, I mean, they're also covered, you know, absolute pacifism doesn't exist in living people.
無理だよ。あれだけ客人が死んでしまったらヘビさんだって引けない。それでも暴力は最後の手段だ。
It's all just made so much greater by the fact that I used to work at Target. And customers at Target are called guests.
一番いい方法って何だったんだろう。何が
Just imagining Vikings storming with red jackets now.
Oh, they killed so many guests.
最初の手段を見つけられるようになりたい。
傷つけていい人間なんてどこにもいないんだ。
Oh, just wait about, I don't know, 940 years.
You know, this day for these two, though, has been entirely just talking and brooding.
Well, no, there was a long, protracted fight for them.
That true as well. I'd hardly gotten some physical exercise at time alone. But Thorfinn has had nothing but,
アルネイズどこだアルネイズどこだ
Man, also, where is your wife? No, there she is.
驚いた。お早いお帰りですのね、あなた。ハラルド王が亡くなったそうじゃありませんか。あなた
アルネイズ
あの奴隷のアバズレ女なら
I swear, I'm not Fox cross-dressing. I might look like it, but Fox only opens one eye.
逃亡を企てたんですよ。旦那様へのご恩も忘れてね。
ともうアルネイズが
this is the right mental state to be getting that information.
手引きしたんです。客人が大勢死にました。うちの男奴隷2人もそれを手伝ったってんだから。とんでもない女さね。
Yeah, I mean, basically coming home with
この件
news that you can't bear to get more news that you can't bear.
Kettle is not leaving this episode without more trauma, unfortunately.
Maybe he might not leave this episode.
なぜだ
I mean,
なぜ何もかもわし
Oh,
の手から
there he
離れ
goes.
ていくんだ
maybe this is the end of Coward Kettle.
なぜだ
End of Coward Kettle and the start of Unhinged Kettle.
聞いてねえな、そんな話は。合わせるわけにはいかねえ。
本当だっちゅうに。ケティルさんがトルフィンの解放を約束したんだ。とにかく顔だけでも見たい。ここにいるのがわしの探しているトルフィンかどうか知りたいんじゃ。
旦那に確認を取ってからだ。
Well, how about you just tell me it looks like this kid? Does he look like this kid?
人間とは絶対に誰とも面会させねえ。
He's just an old man. What do you think he's gonna do?
Anything. You saw what Arnhide did to a guy that was tied up.
忙しい時にすみませんな、パテールさん。
いえ、案内は構わんのですが。
Gosh, we were literally 20 feet from this being resolved.
やはりこんなことを頼めるのは外部の人間のあなたしかいない。失礼ですが、レイフさん、奴隷購入の資金に余裕は終わりですか？
はい、まあ多少。トルフィンはタダで譲ってもらえる約束ですし。
旦那様は約束を守る方です。トルフィンとエイナルはなんとかなるでしょう。ただ、アルネイズが難しい。
Why would he sell her, though?
本当に厚かましいお願いなのですが。
I think Pater is just trying to think of Arnie's protection at this point, because he suspects Kettle will not be happy.
奴隷を身請けしてはいただけませんか？
No, I know he's not saying, like, can you purchase the baby that she's having as a slave? It's gotta be somebody else.
アルネイズ。
たく退屈だ。女が目の前に
Man, that guy was like my dad when I was like 14. Back before he turned into Santa Claus.
神妙なふりしやがって。分かってんだろ、アルネイズ。どうせ旦那はお前の尻を2、3回引っ叩くだけで全部許しちまうよ。とにかくお前には甘いからな、あの人は。
This guy's just thinking everything's gonna be business as
お
usual.
前の罰が俺たち客人に任されてなくてよかったな。今頃お前、裸にひんむかれてな。俺たち
Yep, living up to that Viking name.
Yeah.
殺された仲間の弔い代わりにな。それぐらいじゃなきゃ死んだ仲間が浮かばれねえ。そう思わねえか。
So, I guess this is the guy that's gonna get beaten with a stick.
Oh, he's got the stick.
帰ってらしたね。
Having to pull up your pants in front of your boss is never a good look, no matter what the time period.
アルネイズに用があ
いや、旦那、俺はその。
る。うせろ。
That's gonna go one of two ways.
逃げようとしたのか、わしから。なぜだ、アルネイズ。なぜ。
Full body swing. Did the entire body twist animation for that.
なぜわからん。何のために。わしを蔑むか。わしの誇りを奪う者は許さん。たとえそれがお前でもだ。アルネイズ。
Ah, there we go, the mood breaker.
I mean, it might be too late.
誰の子だ。
Once more, everything slips between Kettle's fingers.
誓って旦那様のお子です。本当です。信じてください。
信じるだと。わしは。わしは。
Alright, Kettle.
信じていた。
You
Oh,
lost
he's
it.
going crazy.
何を信じろというのだ。信じる。
Yeah, this whole place is gonna burn to the ground.
信じてたぞ。本物だと。みじんも歌わずにいたもの失うなぞ。わしは認めんぞ。思い知らせてくれるか。盗人どもにこの手で罰を。
Hey, Snake, what up?
It's already too fucking late. Kettle's gonna die with his fucking farm now.
There's already tragedy in every direction.
確かにアルネイズの罪の重さなら棒打ちは当然でしょう。しかしこれ以上殴れば死刑になる。アルネイズはあんたの奴隷だ、旦那。あんたは彼女を殺す権利を持っている。死刑でいいんですね。いいんなら俺はこの手を棒から離します。
Even if he doesn't, he certainly killed the kid by now.
手 ってしておけパテーラ。
The expression.
What are you laughing? It's a reasonable expression.
I know. It's like,
Sorry,
What else
sometimes
are you
I
gonna
forget
expect?
this is your shock response.
トルフィンの他にもう2人奴隷がいると聞いた。2人ともトルフィンの友達だと。金は払います。譲っていただきたい。
誰がいらんと言った。トルフィンとエイナルはどこへなりと連れて行けばいい。だがアルネイズは売らん。
Yeah, we're not leaving the farm.
その女は
There's no way Thorfinn and I are leaving this.
they might have to.
I certainly don't want the... Sorry, I didn't know what the fate blocks were. I certainly don't want the pacifist angle anymore. Fuck Kettle. I hope that they join Canute in fucking this place up.
生きてはいる。だがずっと気を失ったままだ。助かるかどうかはわからない。よせ、触るなエイナル。動かしたらいかん。
I mean, there's no way you beat a woman half to death and the baby makes it.
許さんぞ。どいつもこいつも盗人だ。わしが育て上げたものを、わしが大切にしてるものをかすめ取ろうと。
親父、どこ行ってたんだ。やることは山ほどあるんだぜ。あと、俺より具足を。おい、親父。
I hope he walks out and meets Floki face to face and just gets his throat cut. Fuck this guy.
He's about to.
I mean, I called it, but I don't like that I called it.
We are definitely in Joker one bad day territory here, right? All it takes is one bad day for the seemingly nice person, which we initially thought was going to turn heel, to finally turn heel.
Well, I never thought he was going to turn heel.
But our initial suspicion was like, oh yeah, the niceness is just a very thin veneer before like all the violence happens.
No.
But we were convinced otherwise because there's good parts to him.
No,
but
this
is also his worst day ever.
That was 100% Shy, and I guess you, because you never said anything to agree with Shy.
Maybe I'm remembering it differently, but it's fine.
No, I mean, I vocally argued that Kettle was not that person, and he wasn't that person until one bad day. Well, technically not even one bad day. He's been stewing in a thing.
In a barrel for a week.
Yeah, well, certain number of days. With apparently his own son making fun of him for it, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but he's ready for bloodshed now.
What a wholly uncomfortable episode.
Absolutely. Sorry, I forget. Leaf and, not Thorfinn. I forget what his actual name is. But Leaf and not Thorfinn are the perspective characters here for this.
I hope that Canute shows up and they get into this fight and then the slaves just come and tear them apart from the back.
Every sudden revolt, yeah. Is that actually the best way this could go?
I have never been so visibly, not even visibly, obviously I'm not visibly, we're stone-faced around here, but I have never been so adamantly on the side of slaves, which is such a horrible thing to say. I mean, I should always be on the side of slaves, but, well, I guess unless it's a penal slavery thing, because in which case some of those slaves might be deserving of their place, murderers and rapists and such.
Slavery, still bad, but continue anyway.
Well, I mean, I would argue that a mass murderer, serial killer, rapist, pedophile, fucking enslave those people. They're not human beings anymore. I will dehumanize a rapist. I will dehumanize a pedophile.
We could definitely be here for a long while on just criminal justice as a topic is on the whole.
Look,
but,
when we buy land and we establish our own commune, we will establish who is and is not a pig. We will take enemy terminology from 86. Those are pigs, not humans. But anyway, my point being, well,
2 legs good, 4 legs better. Anyway,
no, that's human centipede. We're not going to employ that doctor.
no, that's Animal Farm.
No, I'm saying that. Well, I understand that George Orwell made a story about pedophiles and rapists don't tend to be the elite. Well, sometimes they do. I guess Jeffrey Epstein proved that.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't like the time we live in either. Let's talk about this time.
I was trying to make an allusion more towards a human being grafted extra legs, and that would be ass to mouth. That one doctor from that one really horrible movie.
Right.
Human Centipede.
But there's no good resolution to this for everyone else on the farm. If
we started at the highest. The episode 1, Griff, of the entire series was the best resolution. If we had stopped there, that would have been the best resolution of the show. It has been
or
downhill.
like, as Kettle was leaving, where he's just like, yeah, as soon as I get back, you're free.
No, because that's still way down here from episode 1, where he's just a free kid living on a farm playing with other kids. That's still years of revenge, tragedy, and then years of being a slave. That's still way down the line of horrible shit.
I'm talking about right here, right now, Kettle's farm being attacked, right? Because if Canute wins, Canute has already gone ahead and stated on the record, he wants this farm, he wants all of its profits, he will go ahead and probably run it not as nicely as Kettle was.
Fucking let him have it. I don't give a shit about these people anymore. And we're not going to change the whole economic system of the late 13 to 1400s.
I didn't say we were.
Let history sweep that shit aside.
I'm trying to lay out what the tragedy here is, because nobody is going to win.
Certainly some people will win. Individual
stories.
There will
be a lot of people dying, but nobody is going to have a happy outcome here.
Again, happy outcome happened episode 1, season 1. We're not talking about happy outcome. Griffin, you laughed while a woman was getting beaten. So, I don't know where to go with you right now. So, my point being is that individuals can have happier outcomes than history. History will take care of this. Canute can just fucking kill their asses. I don't care about these people anymore. Except for Thorfinn, Einar, Arnheid, Petar. God, old guy is probably going to be dead before this battle is over. He has been crawling on his hands and knees this entire time, and wasn't barely able to eat.
Surfkle, I think it was.
I mean, I'm just saying, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, obviously,
his last words are going to be like, the Kettle's just like, find peace or something, and then he just bites it.
Obviously, Leaf and crew are fine. They're an outside party, but of the people on the farm, that's it. Everybody else can just fucking die.
The thing is, like, at this point, if Leaf leaves with Thorfinn and Einar, his boat's gonna be seen. He's gonna be hunted down.
Well, good. Maybe they'll go to Vinland. He knows the way.
Like,
maybe.
They don't know the way.
He went there once. It's a hard trip, but
yeah. What's going to happen to our main characters is way less clear than what's going to happen to every other character in the series right now, I think.
Well, there's no chance in hell that the farm is going to take on a 2-country king.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the whole thing's getting burned to the ground here.
We've already seen an episode where literally a guy tried to stand up to him, and he lit the countryside on fire to show him how much logistic capability he had.
Yep. Not looking good for anybody. So the guests already said, like, well, there were maybe 10 of them, they lost 5. Then there's, like, the handful of other people who looks like they're being armed, who aren't just real soldiers, going up against 100. They've already lost. They can't win. They literally cannot win.
I mean, they're anime protagonists. Who the fuck knows?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thorfinn could, like, suddenly death blossom and kill, like, 50 of them
Or
something.
Thorgil. I mean, here. The
Yeah,
guy
Thorgil,
we've
too,
already
has
seen. The guy we've already seen take on a whole group of the King's Guard.
Yeah. So, I guess, next time, we're right back to fight time. Let's do it. Let's go. So, any last comments for today, Theta?
I'm just looking for some Carthus. Carthus.
Not some Carthage, but some catharsis, yeah.
Yeah, not Carthus, the League of Legends hero. I mean, that would work too, because he calls down lightning and kills everybody on the battlefield, so it would work.
So, we'll see you next time on League of Legends. This has been Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta. We'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?